Jake Gyllenhaal may well be the next Batman, but what about Ben Affleck as Batman? And what is going on with Matt Reeves' new Batman flick? Will the film be in the DCEU? Well, in this video, I'm breaking down where we're at with all of this crazy Batman drama and what is going on with the DC Extended Universe. Let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you love comic book movies, subscribe to this channel. We cover all aspects of those types of flicks. Oh, and shout out to Cobweb90, who got the nerd card question correct in one of my old Ultra Instinct videos. You definitely know your stuff when it comes to Dragon Ball, so shout out to you, Cobweb. There will be another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, everybody, so this post-Justice League DC Extended Universe world is absolutely crazy. My gut tells me we are just at the tip of the iceberg for potential changes, shakeups, and all sorts of new directions. But the bottom line is it's kind of hard to decipher what is happening, at least right now. So I'm going to talk about this Jake Gyllenhaal Batman thing, but I want to put out a little warning out there. There is actually nothing official about this, but there is a lot of evidence to support the Jake Gyllenhaal casting. There were actually a lot of rumblings about this even months ago, and I didn't really touch them because, to be honest with you, that whole situation with Ben Affleck and Batman was really weird. It seemed like every other day we'd hear something about, oh yeah, he's definitely still with DC. Oh, he doesn't want to play Batman. Oh no, now he wants to play Batman for the rest of the time. It was honestly exhausting and kind of hard to cover. So I stayed away from the Jake Gyllenhaal stuff. But a new article, which is on Revenge of the Fans, has a great breakdown of what is exactly happening. Seriously, go check this article out. It's really awesome, and I'm getting a lot of my information from this. It's written by a guy named Mario Francesco Robles, and man, big fan of this guy just from reading this one article. But anyways, here's basically what they outline in that article. And once again, I would suggest going in there. There's probably stuff I'm going to miss. But basically, according to sources for this Mario Francesco guy, Jake Gyllenhaal is totally in as Batman if Ben Affleck walks away. And I should kind of clarify here what I mean by that. Well, you see, technically, Ben Affleck is still under contract. He still has one film remaining on his contract in which basically if Warner Brothers says he has to suit up as Batman, he will totally be contractually obligated to suit up as Batman. Now, this kind of stuff happens in Hollywood all the time. Like, technically, Hugo Weaving is still under contract to play the Red Skull again. So if Marvel Studios wanted to, they could technically force him to show up as the Red Skull in a film. But the bottom line is, studios don't really like to do this. I mean, if you get us in a situation like this, the actor or actress could really phone it in. They have no obligation to put in good work. And if you sort of plant that seed of bad blood, it could be bad for the studio. I mean, just look at Natalie Portman in the prequels. And, hit me up on Twitter if you have questions about that, because I'll go deep with you on that. She phoned that stuff in. But in either case, like I said, Ben Affleck has sort of been flipping back and forth on whether or not he wants to continue to be Batman. Now, right now, the belief out there is that he will at least do one more film. It is believed to be the Flash movie, which will be titled Flashpoint. And some statements that Affleck had made were sort of suggesting that there could be a cool way to segue him out of the role. Now, I've talked about Flashpoint to death, but essentially it is an opportunity for Warner Brothers to do a soft reboot and make a new casting of Batman fit into their shared universe. Now, in the article on Revenge of the Fans, it also says that the studio is soured on Ben Affleck. They really don't like the performance and the ring around that he has been giving to fans, and you can't really blame them. I mean, honestly, as a fan, I'm not super like affected or hurt by it, but there's a lot of people out there that are like, you know what, Ben Affleck, if you don't want to be Batman, just get out of here. Stop toying with our feelings. We don't care. It's so obvious that you don't really even care about the role or the universe, and we're sick of it, dude, so just get out of here. So I don't know which side of the fence you fall on with that, but that's kind of what is going on. Now, before I go into how I think Jake Gyllenhaal would do as Batman, I want to talk about what is going on with Matt Reeves Batman and the DC Extended Universe. Now, Matt has said to have his outline done for his Batman film. So what this means is, although a lot of things could change, the general beats and the story arc is there. Matt has made a Batman film the way he wanted to make the Batman film. And I have to take you back in time to when Warner Brothers was first courting this guy to develop this Batman property. Now, they had some meetings and Matt actually walked away from the table. Now, that's a showbiz term, but essentially what it means is he was not happy with some of the things that Warner Brothers was mandating for the film. He wanted more creative control and walked away from the project. Now, in order to get him back on the project, they gave him more or less free reign and complete creative control over this movie. Now, the word on the street is, and this is where the official stuff stops because I really have no way to prove this, but the word on the street was that he didn't want Ben Affleck in the movie at all, and he definitely didn't want to be tied to the DC Extended Universe. And you can kind of believe that. I mean, just recently he made statements in which he was saying that the movie will not be connected to the DC Extended Universe. Now, fans gave him a hard time. Warner Brothers probably gave him a talking to, and then he came out and clarified those statements by saying what he meant was, of course, they all are in the same pool, but there won't be as many winks or nods to the other characters, that he is more or less creating a Batman story. Now, if I had to see through all the political bullcrap and tell you what I actually think is going on here, it's that Matt had a vision for Batman. He had a vision for a Batman film, and I promise you that vision was completely separate from anything going on in the DC Extended Universe. That is not to say that it can't canonically exist with whatever they do afterwards, but I am just telling you, there is no way this guy, who is at the height of his career, wanted more creative control, would just create a story that has easy tie-ins to this shared universe that they have going on. So I think that at the end of the day, he was really focused on the DNA of the character, what was going on with Bruce, the trauma, and how Batman deals with said trauma, which sounds amazing, but it really doesn't answer any of the questions on how that will connect with the rest of the DC films being produced at Warner Brothers. Quite frankly, there's a ton of confusion over there right now, and Warner Brothers isn't clearing any of it up. The truth of all of this is that the changes that are happening behind the scenes at Warner Brothers are preventing anyone from being able to give a solid answer. And even before any of this happened, Jeff Johns and other producers were sort of downplaying the shared aspects of the universe, saying, of course they all exist together, but we're focusing on the stories. And so I think that they're sort of waffling their way to get out of this DC shared universe thing. They're not going to reboot per se, mostly because of Wonder Woman, which, on a sidebar once again, has been said to not be connected to the DC universe at all. It's going to have its own story, focus on its own things, and not tie into the larger universe. So that's what we keep hearing from all of these different movies, but we don't have a clarification going on there. Now, as I broke last week, Walter Hamada is now in charge of this whole show over there. Hopefully he is making the rounds, talking to a bunch of different people, and he can give an answer to the fans that will actually make sense. I mean, I don't think we're going to be too pissed either way as long as we get an answer. I mean, think about it. This could all go down. Wonder Woman 2 could be great. Shazam could be great. It doesn't have to link into anything. They don't even have to do Easter eggs. Matt Reeves Batman comes out and it's freaking amazing. And then they collect those characters together or start to build a shared universe. I'm completely okay with that. And I'm okay if they don't even ever share. All I really want is good films. And I think a lot of you are in the same boat. All we really need is good films. But a caveat to that is the fact that Warner Brothers did build this whole thing like a shared universe, and that plainly comes with expectations. So I will be pissed if they don't at least address the fact that they were trying that thing and all of the benefits that were going to come along with it are now being downplayed. They have to at least come out and admit that. Otherwise, I think it's too messy, it's too confusing, and it's honestly disrespectful to their hardcore fans. There are some fans out there that just love the DC Extended Universe, so you have to let those people know what is going on. Now, unfortunately, guys, I can't really let you know anything other than that. Nothing official has come down. That's just kind of what my brain is telling me as someone who's constantly researching and reading articles about this sort of stuff. So hopefully we get an answer on that soon. Now, let's talk about Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman, and quite frankly, I think he would be incredible at doing this. First of all, Gyllenhaal is a tremendous actor. The range on this dude is incredible. I've seen him play quiet, timid characters. I've seen him play quiet, timid characters that then can flip and go psycho crazy town. I've seen him play psycho crazy people. I've seen him be very aggressive in certain films, bulky, skinny. I mean, I think he's just a really, really great actor. I would be very happy if he decided to put the cowl on, but I'd be most excited to see him as Bruce Wayne. And I got to go kind of hardcore nerdy here for a second and explain why. Bruce Wayne is actually the costume that Batman wears. This is echoed in the mythos of Batman all over the place. One of my personal favorites was in Batman Incorporated when Bruce Wayne is dancing with someone overseas. And I actually believe it was Selena Kyle. And she said, "Who are you pretending to be?" And he said, "Bruce Wayne." And it was such a cool little nod because he's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a costume. This was also echoed in the third of the Nolan films where he similarly does that at a dance party, and it's so meta. There's also this episode in the Justice League animated series where someone is taking over the minds of people and pretending to be a thought inside someone's head, and they talk to Batman as though they're saying Bruce over and over again. And you find out at the end of the episode that Batman knew it was somebody trying to get inside his head because he doesn't actually refer to himself as Bruce even when he's thinking to himself in his quiet moments. So Bruce Wayne is this character. I think Gyllenhaal could be a great sort of flamboyant playboy, and I would love to see him act that out. I think it would be very convincing. We've also heard that Matt Reeves Batman is going to really focus on the detective aspects of the character, and so I would be excited to see sort of in the suit but cowl off Jake Gyllenhaal Batman in the Batcave, looking at all the screens, doing ballistic experiments, perhaps even in other costumes. I mean, that would be really cool. A challenge for Gyllenhaal, but he's got the range for this. I mean, the dude just has incredible chops. So I would personally be very excited to see him as Batman. But what do you guys all think? Would you be excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman? What are your feelings about Ben Affleck in this whole situation? Do you think he should do the soft reboot film in Flashpoint and then we can get Jake the rest of the way? I mean, what do you think's going on with DC? You think they're sort of trying to downplay that shared universe thing? Or will Walter Hamada come up with a firm solution and a stance for that studio? I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for, but I want to know what all of you guys think in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation about the DCEU, Batman, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ben Affleck. Maybe they should just fight each other like those dudes in The Dark Knight with the pool stick. There's only one spot for Batman, boys. Good luck. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, what character did Batman ask to marry him recently in comics? Now, this was a super big deal, sort of a Tom King thing, who, by the way, is crushing it in everything he writes right now. But the question remains, what was the character that Batman asked to marry him recently in comics? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!